Nico, look, I'm playing along with the song live in the studio. You ready?
Yeah. Something's wrong with you. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of the After Buzz podcast. My name is Nico at Jimmy and your host of the After Buzz, and of course with me is the man, the myth, the legend, Buzz Adams.
Hello.
How are you doing, buddy?
I am really good. You know, having a great week so far.
Yeah.
Although it's incredibly hot, at least we don't have forest fires.
Good point.
Everybody up in Ruidoso,
Everyone else does.
I hope everybody's staying safe and taking, them seriously. I get, like why people don't want to leave all of their earthly possessions, even when they're telling them, get the hell out. You know what I mean?
I could understand that as well.
I'm going to be here and protect my stuff. They got some massive fires going on up in Ruidoso. We hope everybody's okay and stays safe.
They do. It was Flag Day last week, wasn't it? I think Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, Friday, I believe.
And what does that mean? It's like a sort of Memorial Day or for all
Flag
soldiers?
Day sounds like maybe a thing that might have been a much bigger deal in the past. I guess it's like, hey, get that flag out. You're going to use it again for 4th of July in a few weeks.
I bring it up because I learned over the weekend. I was doing a show in Sierra Blanca, Texas. Mm-hmm. First professional comedy show that ever go on there. And I think it was the sheriff that was telling me that Texas is the only state that can fly its flag as high as the United States flag.
Is that right?
But that makes sense because Texas is the only state that was a country before it was part of the United States.
Its own sovereign
nation,
country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Texans.
I don't know if I go as hardcore on all the Texas stuff as a lot of people do.
Oh, we're damn special, sir.
Yeah, I know you're special.
Texas is different than every other state in this union. Because we could go back. We could take it all on the road again.
You could secede. Huh?
Yep. Actually, the sheriff was telling me, again, that the future farmers students, the sheriff was saying that he's very good friends with Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick, lieutenant governor. And he says that he has lots of access to the Capitol when he goes. So he takes these future farmers of America students and that he gets them an extra secret tour that most people don't really get. Like, for example, I guess...
Now, you future farmers, eventually you're going to be involved in government because they're going to pay you not to grow sorghum.
Yeah, good point. He said that the Texas Capitol has its own, similar to the United States, emergency nuclear bunker command center underneath.
Wheelchair accessible?
That's the same joke my mom made, weirdly enough.
Now I am worried
when I told
that I'm sharing a sense of humor with your mom.
Yeah, you are. I told her the same thing, and she said, how could he get... I think she didn't even mean it as a joke, though. I think she was being very naive. I was like, how does Greg Abbott get down there? Don't they say in emergencies not to use the elevator? Which is a good point. I don't know how. But he said it's like an inverted skyscraper.
Like a skyscraper, but underground.
Yes. And that...
Is there any chance the sheriff was pulling your leg?
No. He was.
You believe it was 100%?
Oh yeah. He seemed he was very. He seems like he takes this stuff seriously.
Because it sounds like you're going to be like Pee Wee Herman. It's like, my bicycle's in the basement of the state capitol. There's no basement in the state capitol.
Well, if we were Montana or any other state, I would probably be like, yeah, whatever. It's probably nothing. But because we're Texas, and I know that we probably do feel like if we needed to secede, we could. Mm-hmm. They do have that, and that. Apparently it has rooms for Texas Rangers, DPS, Texas has our own intelligence service. Crazy, right? Oh, that the state...
They've got their own rooms.
As sections,
sections,
or areas for to still be able to operate in the case of an emergency, and that the Treasury has been moved there.
Really?
That the Texas Treasury is underneath the Capitol as well. Mm-hmm. Now, that one sounds fishy. That sounds like a James Bond, Fort Knox kind of story.
Now, these are rooms that that law enforcement isn't afraid to go into, right?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, he did say he was even very good friends with the colonel. I was thinking the colonel.
The state colonel,
and then he goes,
who was with the Uvalde thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Texas. Not Rangers. It would be the DPS.
Yeah, but I think the colonel you're talking, was he, you know what, it's been...
Right.
Been a couple of years.
Anyways, very interesting man. Very interesting story about the Capitol.
Mm-hmm. Did he have any opinions about the migrants?
That's something completely separate.
What? Better?
I think he does.
Oh, but you didn't talk about that.
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't. He did tell me though that the house, because there was an actual house next to our venue, and an old-looking house, and he said, "That house right there, you see that house? That's where General John Pershing lived."
Is that right?
Well, General Pershing was tasked with getting rid of Pancho Villa.
Tracking him down after he pulled off a brazen raid on Columbus, New Mexico, if you know your Texas history.
Yes, and Pershing was in charge of that, and apparently Sierra Blanca was one of the staging areas for it. Yes.
I thought he lived at the Pershing Inn. I thought that's what they call it there.
That's just where barflies live.
Oh.
And that's actually not even there anymore. That's it's been closed. Yeah, it's closed.
All right,
let's get into today's topic. It's some news nugs.
It's a news nug episode.
Nico's news. Yeah, man, it's not really news.
All right, let's start with a new book out about Donald Trump.
Oh, boy.
It's called Apprentice in Wonderland by Ramin Seduda, and it's about all of the years that Donald Trump was on The Apprentice.
And how does this guy know things that we don't know?
Well,
what's he base all this on?
He has actually interviewed Trump several times. Interviews for the book were carried out from 2021 to 2023. So that actually kind of encompasses an interesting era because Trump is fresh out of power and kind of seems like he'll never come back to politics, to now when it looks like he might even win the presidency again.
Right.
So
there was a moment when it looked like his support among Republicans in Congress and the Senate was just going to be completely washed away, but then they remembered, oh, we're a bunch of suck-ass pieces of shit, and totally lined up to kiss his ass.
All right, do you want to hear some of the things that he said?
Yeah.
All right, he says, Fauci was wrong on everything.
Okay. He thought that injecting bleach was a bad idea.
He dings the likes of Caitlyn Jenner and Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah, well, everybody does that, right? It's the Kardashians.
He claims Trump claims his own macho swagger reminds the people of Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood is still alive.
Yeah.
He might even make more movies.
Maybe, yeah. But isn't it funny for Donald Trump to compare himself to the...
Go ahead, make my day.
And this weird thing about Deborah Messing.
Yeah, I saw a headline or two. Apparently, he is fascinated with Deborah Messing, especially her red hair.
Well,
Wait a minute. Now, this guy has interviewed Trump, so Trump cooperated? So this is all based on the interviews that he did with him? Did he write them on the back of undeclassified documents? I've got a lot of paper you can write right over here.
So he confirms something that he dropped hints about in earlier meetings, and that was that during the early years of The Apprentice, he had a crush on Will and Grace's leading lady.
That Deborah Messing, let me tell you, not much in the boob department, but I'm an ass man.
Well, now he can't quite shake the bitterness that exists between them. Quote from the book, a former president who can't win over a star almost sounds like the premise of a corny romantic comedy. But for Trump, Messing's rejection is still a sharp dagger to his heart. Quote, Trump,
wait, did they go on a date?
No, not that I know of. But Trump says, this Deborah Messing, who I always thought was quite attractive, not that it matters, of course. She was so thankful. And then I watch her today, and it's like she's a raving mess. Maybe she was on The Apprentice. It's like a celebrity. Yeah, I guess she was probably on The Celebrity Apprentice.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it was interesting that he, like...
Have you ever heard the story about
he
him?
decided, like, this is an interview. He's the former president of the United States.
And he's talking about how...
Deborah Messing.
Right.
Like...
It's like she was... It sounds like he's saying... He's implying she really owed me for helping out her career, and then she wouldn't fuck me.
But,
I mean, doesn't that...
Yeah,
what
but
that sounds like?
It almost lowers you to be referencing somebody from a TV show 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Yeah, 20 years ago. Like, what is going through your mind that this has to come up? This bubbles to the surface.
Let's talk about Just Jack, the gay guy.
Anyways, he denies that there's ever tape that has him saying the N-word.
The N-word.
It doesn't exist. It would have come out 15 different ways. Number one, it's a word that I've never used it in my life. But then, Trump, however, can't resist a thought experiment. Would I use it when the mics are all hot? Well, the mics are always hot because a lot of times they would see stuff during a break that was good. They'd use some stuff during the breaks, which was my idea.
No way I would say it if I thought there were microphones around.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Next story. I forgot my phone. Little League scandal outrages parents in Philadelphia suburb.
I mean, the first question that comes to mind is how outrageous could this scandal be? Like somebody got an extra juice box?
Kind of interesting, actually. So, a youth baseball game came to a screeching halt in a suburb near Philadelphia last month when all of a sudden parents and players alike looked to the sky. And as they looked to the sky, a plane holding a banner disparaging one of the parents.
One of the parents?
Yes, flew by.
Can you tell me what the text was?
Absolutely. So, it said, his name is Zach McGid.
That's all?
Well, big picture here. There was an online petition demanding excuse me. So last month they had it was targeting a father. Last month a father complained about the Little League and their schedule. Okay, parents said several coaches. That officials were concerned about a decision to end the in-house season early for the second straight year, so more advanced players could begin competing on summer travel teams.
Oh my God, this is the most boring shit I've ever heard in my life. How could somebody get so upset about this?
I know,
that they
right?
got an airplane.
So basically, this guy was upset that they were going to shorten the season for the better players to go on summer teams when, like, maybe his kid was the intramural and wanted. So, but he was successful. He got them.
He got his way.
He got his way.
Now, is that the McGid guy?
Yes. That was all apparently done anonymously, though.
And that's all it said is his name is...
Blank McGid.
Blank McGid?
Yes.
When you were telling me that, I thought it's like, oh, they're calling out a registered sex offender
Yeah,
or
I
some
thought
crazy shit like that.
That would be juicy. But this is even weirdly juicy because it's like, who would... That's a $2,000 expenditure.
And also,
why? Who
does
cares?
it really zing him?
Yeah.
I mean, it just says his name.
Well, I guess nobody had known about it, and now he's saying that him and his family are receiving death threats.
For what?
For having gotten their way?
Also, what an unusual message for whatever you're trying to get across is basically like he joined Fight Club. His name is Blank McGid.
I think that might have been their intention. To be like a Fight Club reference.
They're just big David Fincher fans.
I don't know, but he thinks it's one of the coaches, or he thinks it's one of the...
That shelled out for I guess they also have to make the sign, so there's like printing costs, typesetting for that kind of thing.
Yeah, right?
Get out of here.
So now there's an investigation under the way for who paid for it and how this got put up there.
This is probably
it's a suburb.
It's a suburb?
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say this is probably a small community or...
It's right next to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're doing an investigation, the fact that they had a town hall or town meeting about it last month, and tons of people showed up to air their grievances about how could somebody do this.
Now, this is the whole story. There's not some crucial piece of, some kind of ongoing feud that we're missing out on?
Mm-mm.
Okay. That's an odd story.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
He said the stunt has made his family fear for their safety.
His name is blank again. Run for your lives.
Anyways, I just thought it was an interesting story. All right, next up. This one you might have seen. Perfectly preserved centuries-old cherries.
At George Washington's farm?
Yep.
Mount Vernon?
Yep. But you must have seen the story because you finished the statement.
Yeah, I did see the headline only.
Jason Burrows, Mount Vernon's principal archaeologist right now, said there is a discovery of so much perfectly preserved food from 250 years ago that it's essentially unprecedented.
And inedible, I assume? How did it it must have been buried. How did it end up getting buried? Did they have them as preserves and maybe a cellar collapsed or something?
Well,
I'd be interested to know how they ended up being
they were
buried.
Uncovered from the cellar of his mansion on the banks of the Potomac.
They never checked the cellar before?
Well, it was buried in the cellar. The ground in the cellar around it.
All right.
So they were doing an archaeological dig connected to a restoration project that unearthed them, essentially.
And these were preserved?
Still edible.
No.
250 years, it's essentially fresh fruit, he was saying. It's pretty spectacular. All the stars sort of have to align in the right manner for that to happen.
Wow.
Whole pieces of fruit, recognizable as cherries, were found in the bottles. Other bottles held what appear to be gooseberries or currants, though testing is underway.
Gooseberries? That doesn't sound like a real thing.
Gooseberries? You've heard of those before.
I've only heard of it as like a funny word. Gooseberries.
So now they want to take some of those cherry pits out of the bottles and see if they can plant them. Like, wouldn't that be cool? Have like a cherry tree from 250 years ago?
I'd eat one of those cherries.
Right?
Yeah.
Just to say,
I ate one of George Washington's cherries.
Well, what do you mean? Like it's from a plant that descended from... Nope.
He had it in his own cellar. I popped George Washington's cherry. So I'm the father of the country.
Benjamin Gutierrez, a USDA plant geneticist, says that it's kind of a long shot of the chances of using the cherry pits to grow back. Seeds preserve best when they're dry, and most of the samples at Mount Vernon were waterlogged.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Well, that is kind of interesting.
He does say the bottles are a remarkable find. In addition to DNA testing, chemical testing will show if any particular spices were used.
What do you think they used the cherries for? Because they didn't have hot fudge sundaes back then.
I think you could make like a cordial or a liqueur out of them, right?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I mean, I know that George Washington made his own liquor.
And smoked his own weed. Or was that Thomas Jefferson? That was all of them.
They grew hemp. Is there anything written down that says somebody used marijuana to get high?
Did any of
I think you're just thinking of a scene from
fathers
Dazed and Confused.
Weed. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to take this question to ChatGPT.
Is that an AI?
It is an AI. It's the AI.
Okay.
It's going to be the one that takes over. I like how your story about McDonald's AI was so terrible they're taking it out of McDonald's drive-thrus.
Yes. Here, this is what it sounds like when ChatGPT is working on a problem.
Correct. It is tabulating. Okay. The topic of whether any founding fathers used marijuana is often debated, but lacks substantial historic evidence.
Okay.
Cannabis was grown in colonial America.
Cannabis.
What did I
Not
say?
hemp.
For
Let's
its
see,
hemp fiber,
for the hemp fiber.
which was used in making ropes, sails, and other materials. Both Thomas Jefferson and George Washington cultivated hemp on their plantations, but there's no concrete evidence that they smoked marijuana for recreational or medicinal purposes.
Okay, so when you're growing hemp, does the plant look like a marijuana plant? Like if you're growing hemp, does it also have the flowers, which are...
You've never seen really bad weed before, but it looks like it has like all this fiber.
Okay, you can't smoke hemp and get high, right?
It generally has very low amounts of the psychoactive THC component. So
all right.
Enough of it.
I'm
you
just
could.
wondering if there's a different class of, we're growing this to make rope out of, as opposed to, we're growing it.
Well, that's what they're saying, that they know that they grew them for the hemp.
Nobody wrote about
smoking it or doing it for the high.
On July 3rd, Jefferson, Washington, Franklin, and I got together and got ripped to the bejesus.
Yeah. There's none of that necessarily. Okay. Moving on. Next story. A self-proclaimed toxic man-eater named Emily Webb is living a comfortable life as a homeless woman. She says she's relying on boyfriends and her beauty. Mm-hmm. She says that it is a life hack. If you're hot, you don't ever pay rent.
There's so many Emily Webbs on the internet. Emily Webb, what did you call her?
She's Australian, if you just want to put that up.
And homeless?
Yes, because she stays at boyfriends' houses. And I say boyfriends in the plural sense.
Is this her?
Nope.
All right.
That is not her. Why don't you put OnlyFans up there, too?
Oh, she has an OnlyFans.
She does.
So she's homeless, but she has a computer.
Yes.
Or you can run an OnlyFans on your phone, probably, right?
Yeah.
God. I'm so behind the times.
This sounds like it could be dangerous, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely...
She claims
you're
she
living
stays
on the
at...
perimeter of...
There she is.
Oh, my God. How old is she?
25. What do you think? Yeah, she's attractive.
Yeah. I mean, she's definitely...
But what do you think about the mentality that if you're hot, you don't need to pay rent or do anything?
I mean, that seems to work for women who marry doctors and lawyers and, whatever else.
She's staying with multiple boyfriends, and people are saying online that this could actually get her killed.
Yeah, you could probably wind up, in some kind of crazy love triangle. I hesitate to say love. Oh, no, she's invested a lot in her body, I can tell you that.
So she is seen in a recent TikTok where she is filming herself at a super lavish home. And she says, "This is one of my boyfriend players. He's in the other room."
Player?
I don't know.
I mean...
I can't believe I was wasting my money on rent all this time. Life hack, if you're hot, do not ever pay rent. You can literally just go on a Hinge and stay at or you can go on Tinder and stay at different guys' places for free every single night.
She's had kids. Look at the stretch marks.
You think so?
I don't know. The pictures are very blurry.
She is stacked.
Yeah.
You think that's real or fake?
Dude, don't ask dumb questions. Of course it's fake.
She says you can
Real
just go on...
don't look like you stuck 2 volleyballs on your chest.
Buzz, what do you think about the sentence, I can just go on Tinder and stay at a different person's place every night?
Yeah, you could do that. If you were hot enough.
I guess you could.
Yeah.
She is very pretty.
Okay.
People are saying you are sending
prostitution?
Is this prostitution? You are sending the wrong messages to viewers. Stop sponging off nice people.
Wait a minute. These nice people are letting a very, very sexual-looking young woman.
You're trading sex, basically.
You're as responsible as she is if you go along with it.
Do you relate to the people who do this?
Shut up! God damn it! You've been tiptoeing around this, and I knew it was like, he's leading me down. He's like a hog to the slaughter. He's just setting me up.
Do you relate to this?
Next topic.
Okay, just so everybody knows, Buzz, he nodded his head yes.
No, I did not. I did not respond to your ridiculous insinuation. It is beneath comment. It is not worthy of comment.
All right, and our last...
I don't know, I let you stay at my house. Was that prostitution?
No, because I was working for it.
That doesn't make it sound... Look,
I was working here.
You know that I have let many, many people, out of the goodness of my heart, I don't charge money, I let many people...
Oh, and I've seen the people you've let stay at your house for...
Yeah, I know, you got a mirror.
For sex.
No.
I'm not one of those people. All right, moving on. Our last story. Today is Tuesday, which means there's going to be another episode of Star Wars, The Acolyte.
Oh, boy. Last week's was all like the story of their childhood.
Yeah, a lot of exposition. We didn't need
done
it
without it.
We could have just gotten...
That could have been a crawl on the screen, It's like, now these two chicks are witches.
Yeah, right. We could have gotten all of that exposition somewhere else.
We didn't need an entire episode for this one. Did not appreciate it.
But there is speculation about the big bad in this series, who is, by all accounts, and we're presumptions, a Sith Lord, it looks like. The guy with the mask.
Where do you see the guy with the mask? I don't remember the scene where it showed a guy with a mask.
Oh, look up, he was shown really quickly. I think in the first or second episode, when May is the twin's name, right?
Yes.
She's the bad one.
The one who's killing, spoilers.
Yeah, sorry.
The one who's killing the Jedi.
Yeah, this is spoilers.
She immediately starts killing Jedis. Like, right.
It's the first scene.
Yeah, it's the first scene.
So anybody...
Great scene. That's the best scene of the show so far.
That one was really good. I'm not going to spoil anything on this. So if you are already watching and you don't want spoilers, or if you haven't watched it yet and you still don't want spoilers,
I don't think we're going to spoil anything you don't learn in the first 30 minutes of the first episode.
Right. And this entire speculation about who the bad guy is going to be is just speculation. There has been no...
probably Darth Plagueis.
That's one of the suspected bad guys that they think they might be going with.
Who was Palpatine's master?
Darth Plagueis.
Yeah. Darth Plagueis could... Bad guy in The Acolyte. Screen Rant says Darth Plagueis could be behind it all.
Look up images. There you go. Yeah. They showed him.
Where did that happen?
I don't remember.
God, I thought he was a Boba Fett.
Oh, it kind of does look like that, yeah.
Okay.
So, it could be Darth Plagueis, which was Palpatine's...
He discovered the secret of life and death.
He could manipulate the midichlorians.
The midichlorians. Jesus Christ. What a mess.
But people are saying, no, they're going to probably save Darth Plagueis, because following Disney's acquisition of Star Wars, Plagueis became a much more mysterious figure, with executives thinking that his story could be told further down the line. Now, there's another one. Darth Tenebrous.
Okay, now you're getting into real nerd territory.
This is from the Legends imprint, and you know how like there's canon and then there's not canon for Star Wars, like the made-up stories kind of...
Yeah, whatever. I mean, what is Legends?
It's the stories of...
but in what they appear in what media?
Comic books.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if they've done any animated film for it, but...
You know what the shittiest thing about...
Do you only consider live action canon?
I don't think about that. All I know is, and I think you'll agree with me, somebody who has followed Star Wars and bought as many Star Wars shit, as much shit as I have through the years, those last 3 movies, I should not have been sitting in the theater totally baffled as to what's going on. You know, you don't go to that many movies and it's like, who are these people? There's a planet of people who worship the Sith, I guess, and then how did they get it? It was
You were super baked for the last one, so
not my fault. No, but I went back and watched it.
When we saw that,
Donnell Rawlings had given us like his signature pre-rolls,
and we sat in the the only seats we could get were the very front row. I remember this.
Yeah, but Alamo, so it's not so bad.
I don't think we saw this one at Alamo.
Okay, so anyway, I couldn't understand. Yeah, we definitely saw it.
No, we didn't, because I remember sitting front row and both being like, you being like, what is going on? And my neck hurts.
Nah, I think you're thinking of somebody else.
I think we went to premiere.
Okay, well, whatever we went to, I went back and watched it in a clearer state of mind, and it
Still
still
is
made
confusing.
no sense to me. Apparently, you have to look up things on Wikipedia. I think they ought to make it that if you go and see their major
Movies,
motion picture,
you shouldn't have to research
They
anything.
should draw there should be a thread through that you can follow without going and watching the fucking cartoon.
Yeah, I agree. Like, that's the nice thing about watching the early ones is you don't really need to know.
They got
anything.
a picture from the Acolyte, or it purports to be anyway, and there's like 20 Sith, like with their red lasers, with their red...
Laser swords? Were you about to make that mistake? What kind of
Well, they
Star Wars
basically
fan are you?
You know what? When they first meet Anakin, he guesses that they're Jedi, and they ask him why, and he says, I saw your laser sword.
Yeah, I do remember that. I saw your laser sword.
But there are, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 maybe lightsabers that are red.
Oh, I'm excited. If they show like a giant battle.
Well, that's just Darth Vader. They have a picture of just Darth Vader.
All right.
Anyway, I hope they get back on track. I thought last
it'll
week's
be interesting.
episode could have just been a narration, and I guess at least they're trying to explain stuff to us, which was my main problem with those last 3 Star Wars movies. The main Star Wars movies. Which ones were good?
1 through 6.
The one with Cassian Andor was good.
Rogue One.
Rogue One was good.
But that, because it's self-contained.
Yeah, it's self-contained.
Did you like Han Solo?
Was shit.
Yeah.
It answered all the questions nobody cared about.
That nobody was asking.
Like, how did you make the Kessel Run in under 12 parsecs? You know what?
Nobody was asking these questions.
It reminds me of those Christmas shows with the claymation where they would like explain all of the Christmas traditions. So that's why we leave our socks out on the fire. It's like, remember, his name is Han, and he gets on board the ship, and they said, just one passenger? He goes, yeah, just me. And they go, Han Solo. It's like, nobody cares.
Why it was...
God. It makes me hate everything about that movie.
And the last
So
3.
that's how he met Chewbacca.
Actually, that's something I was kind of curious about.
Yeah,
But not necessary. It was very unneeded.
Right, they'd already shit the bed, on that movie. It could have been interesting if they didn't also have all this ridiculous stuff. So, no, not a fan.
Okay.
So that's how he got the Millennium Falcon.
Let us know what you guys think about these movies, about anything we talked about today. You can email me at Nico, N-I-C-O, at KLAQ.com, or Buzz, B-U-Z-Z, at KLAQ.com. Also, leave us a message on the neckline. The neckline number is
844-805-6325. 844-805-NECK.
Yeah, there you go. Don't forget to listen to the Buzz and Nico Morning Show. All right, talk to y'all next time.